are Gentile people that's not a part of the 12 tribes, are they going to get saved? So, for example, somebody that, that's not part of the 12 tribes.
Yeah, somebody like a East Indian or African or so-called white man.
So would they be, if they wouldn't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, would they be saved?
Well, give me Isaiah 14:1. Give me Isaiah 14:1. Right? And you give me Jeremiah 3:23. I actually want that real quick first. Yeah. Give me Jeremiah 3:23. And you hold that. Right? We're going to show you what's going to happen to the other nations. Right? Well, first we're going to show you salvation. Well, let's bring this up.
It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 23.
Right?
Truly is in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of mountains.
Right, and the multitude and the hills and mountains, they represent other nations. The mountains represent big nations, and then the hills represent a smaller form of a nation. Right, bring it up.
Truly in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel.
So he said it's vain for the other nations to want that salvation, because it's truly for Israel. Right, now bring this up.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1.
This is an end time prophecy. This is what's going to happen in the near future, man. All right?
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
You going to do what?
Will have mercy on Jacob.
You going to have mercy on Jacob?
Will yet choose Israel. Choose Israel.
We're going to choose the people on this side, read on.
And set them in their own land.
Set us in our own land, because right now we in the land of our enemy. We're going to get set back in Jerusalem.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Strangers is anybody outside this church. So they're going to be joined with us, right? The East Indian man, the African man, the white man, the Chinese man, they're going to be joined with us.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
They're going to cleave unto the house of Jacob.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
We're going to take these strangers and bring them to our place, Jerusalem.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
Shall do what?
Shall possess them in the land of the Lord.
Possess means you own it. So you're going to own the East Indian. You're going to own the white man. You're going to own all these other nations.
For servants and handmaids.
What?
For servants and handmaids.
So you're going to own them for servants and handmaids.
And they shall take them captives, who captives they were.
Right.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
We're going to rule over them, man.
Right.
So the other nations going to be in the kingdom as your slave, brother. That's the gospel. Right? If you keep the commandments, you're going to get the so-called white man in your cotton field, man. Right. That's the doctrine. That's what's going to happen to him. Right? What, you got another precept? Right, you can give me that. Hey, brother said that's crazy. Yeah, you can get that. Isaiah 61:4. We got more for you. We go keep bringing it out. Get Amos 9 and 11. Right? We got a few more for you just to nail it home, brother. Now that's what you get if you keep the commandments. Keep this in mind. We gonna keep bringing it out. Out of 2 or 3 witnesses.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 61 verse 5. And strangers shall stand and feed thy flock.
Right, strangers, they go stand and feed your flock.
And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers.
Right, they gonna be your plowmen and your vine dressers, man. Read on.
But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord.
But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. Read on.
Men shall call you the ministers of our God.
They go by you the ministers of our God, because they gonna have to worship the Most High God in the kingdom. Like they showed you Caesar Borgia, the so-called white man, that white Jesus. They said serve him, or we go cut the damn toes off, or whatever the hell they was doing. It's gonna be the same thing. And you gotta serve your how Bashim Yahushua. We gonna put you to death, man. That's straight up how it's gonna be in the kingdom, right? They have to keep the commandments. So there ain't gonna be no homosexuality or none of that, or you gonna put you to death.
Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles.
All this stuff, man, all this belong to us, man. We gonna take that, man. We gonna take that back, man. Right? Bring it up.
And in their glory shall ye boast yourself.
We gonna boast ourselves in their glory, man. It's the doctrine, man. Bring it up.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 11.
Right.
In that day, I will raise up the tabernacle of David.
That's what we doing. We raising up the house of David, man, because it's actually a spiritual house first, man. So we raising up that spiritual house. This is what you see before you, you know?
that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof.
Right, read on.
And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old,
Right, read.
that they may possess the remnant of
That
Edom.
we should do what?
Possess the remnant of
You're going to
Edom,
possess the remnant of Edom. It's only going to be a remnant because World War III going to take out a lot of people. You know?
and of all the heathen,
Who?
all the heathen,
Right.
which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this.
Like saith the Lord that doeth it. Give me Psalms 2 and 8, man. Let's go into so them right there. They gonna be your slaves, man. Right. That's your walking slave right there, man. Right, future slaves, man. Thus saith the Lord, man. Right. Bring that out. Wait, you got Daniel. Yeah, get that Daniel. Take the candle. It's the truth. It's rough, man.
The book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 8.
Right.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
So he said, ask me, and I'm going to give you the heathen for your inheritance, man. So when you praying to the Most High, you should be praying to have your enemies in slavery, man. Right? Straight up, man. That's what the Lord said, man. Bring it on.
In the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
Uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession, man. The whole earth, man. Right?
Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron.
What we gonna do to the nations?
Break them with a rod of
I
iron.
thought they get salvation too.
Break them with a rod of
So
iron.
they gonna get broke with a rod of iron. You know?
Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
Right, so you take a potter's vessel and dash it to pieces. That's how you gonna do the nations, man. Right, give me him that overcometh, man. What's that? Revelation 2 and what's that? 16, 17, something like that. Yeah, 2 and 26. Right, bring that up.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 18.
Right.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Right, so we gonna take the kingdom and possess it forever, even forever, man. So we gonna last forever on the kingdom. So all the other nations, they're literally going into slavery, according to the Bible. Right, bring that up.
Book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 26.
It's Christ speaking. Read on.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my words unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
So if you keep the works to the end, you're gonna have power over the nations, man. Read on.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Shall do what?
Rule them with a rod of
They
iron.
don't read this in church, man. He said they gonna rule them with a rod of iron.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.
Right? So they're gonna be broken, man. Just like we brought out in the song. They're gonna be broken, man. Broke down, beat down, man. And they're gonna be forced to keep the thus saith the Lord. And that's it, man. And we gonna rule forever. Right? You was getting Isaiah 2. I like that. You can bring that up.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 2.
Nope.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountain.
Right, and that's why I was saying that represents nations. So the mountain of the Lord's house gonna be at the top of the mountains, man. We're gonna be the top nation on the earth. That's
Right.
And shall be exalted above all the hills.
Right.
Above the hills. And all nations shall flow into it.
Right, and all nations gonna flow into us. They're gonna say you the ministers of our God. They're gonna be making sacrifices, keeping the new moons, keeping all the commandments. And we gonna be ruling over them. And if they don't want to listen, they gonna get put to death. Straight up. We gonna catch the so-called white man being homosexuals, and we gonna put them to death. They'll be rebellion, right? Because we get the new covenant and we can't sin anymore, but they still gonna be able to sin, and we gonna be putting them to death for that, right?
Verse 3. And many people shall go and say, Come, ye, and let us go up to the mountains of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob.
Right.
And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
You see that? So the word of the Lord go flow from us, flow out of Jerusalem. Give me Revelation 21.
Verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people.
Right, you see that? So we gonna rebuke many people. We go judge among the nations. Like our whole duty, if we was to keep the commandments back then, was to be exalted above the nations, be the number one nation, and rule them according to the law. And that's the same thing that happened with Adam. He was supposed to rule over all the other nations with the commandments, but he went off with Eve. That's how it went down. That's always how the Lord program was. I want one nation, one people to rule the other people and teach them, police them. We're gonna be the spiritual policemen, man. Right? It said we're gonna have spiritual power, man. So we ain't gonna be regular feeble men. We're gonna have spiritual bodies. We're gonna be doing the magneto, man, lifting people up with your mind, man, for real, man. Right?
You said that Adam went off, right?
Yeah.
So did they literally did Eve literally bit an apple, or is that a metaphor?
Well, we can bring that out after we bring this out. Get 21 and 12.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 12. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels. Names written thereon. And names written 10 thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Right, and that's the kingdom of heaven. So it got a great wall, 12 gates, and the names written on the gates. Well, it got a big wall, 12 gates, 12 angels in front of the gates, 13, 14, 15 feet angels, and the name on the gates is the Israelites. Well, yeah, angels is pretty tall. I understand. Right? Goliath was like 9 feet, man. And they all so-called black men. Now bring that up.
34 to 12. It's the book of Job, chapter 34, verse 3. For the ear try words as the mouth tasted meat.
Right, so the ear try words as the mouth tastes of meat. Right, read on.
Verse 4. Let us choose to us judgment.
Right, actually, that's it on that. So the ear try words as the mouth tastes meat. Now, she actually didn't eat an apple. The word apple isn't there. The word is fruit. And the fruit represents a nation's philosophies because men is known as trees. Give me that Mark 8 and 22. Right, give me Mark 8 and 22, man. Right, through the Spirit, man. Right, so that fruit that she ate was the philosophy of the other nations. That's why in Job he said the ear tastes of meat. That's the ear try or try of meat. That's the ear try of words.
It's the book of Mark, chapter 8 and verse 22. And he cometh to Bethsaida, and they bring a blind man unto him, and besought him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught.
Right, so Christ basically spit on his hands, rubbed the blind man's eyes, and he said, "What do you see?"
And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking.
Right, he said, I see men as trees walking. Because men represents trees in the Bible. Multiple precepts we can bring out to show you that men are trees in the Bible. And what does a tree bring forth? Fruit. But what does a man bring forth? He brings forth his philosophies, that his doctrine, he brings forth that fruit. So Eve ate of the fruit of the other nations and took that to Adam. Say, hey, yeah, you know you can look at the stars and they look like this, that, and the third, and you can make a god out of that, right? Look at the sun. I mean, I know that Most High stuff, but look at the sun. And that's how it went. You see what I'm saying? Straight up. That's actually how it went. Yeah, in fact, give me Wisdom of Solomon. What's that, 14? The first sin, man, is idolatry. You know what I want? You know what that's at? It's past Caesar Borgia. Caesar Borgia is like, yeah. And, what you was gonna bring it out? Yeah, I see you in there.
It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 12. Right. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. Right. And in the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Right. You see that? So that's read that again.
For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. Right. And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Right. You know, it's the corruption of life when Adam went off. Right, in the division of idols. What's an idol? It's a false god, man. So it wasn't, I mean, why would you eat an apple and now we no. You see what I'm saying? They ate the philosophy of another nation. You see? That's right. And, where it say, yeah, I do want that. Yeah, that's the one I want. Check this out too.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food,
right, she saw the tree was good for food. She liked that philosophy and enticed her.
And that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise.
To do what?
To make one wise.
Have you ever ate an apple and became wise? How about a banana or an orange, man? And I ate this pear, and the next thing you know, no, man. How can a tree make one wise? It's the philosophy. She like, I like that, man. Let me tell my husband about worshiping the moon. I like that. You see what I'm saying?
I want to make a point with that too. An example would be like a woman that learn about Islam or Jehovah's Witness. It sounds good to her, and she gonna run back and tell her man like, hey, I just found out, but you know in Islam this and that, right?
Yeah, it's start at But the first one is Hosea. You know that one? Yeah, bring that out. Yeah, I want to get that one instead. That one say dark. I want them similitudes. Yeah, check this out. All right. Bring this out. I like this precept, man. All right. Because he's speaking metaphors on purpose. We're going to bring that out. Is it 14 to 12? Try 12 and 14. No, it's Hosea. You know that I got it, the precept man over here. That precept in Hosea where he said he's speaking similitudes. It ain't in. Yeah, it might be that. I want that one in Hosea for sure. Let's look it up. Give me what you got, a precept? Yeah, Matthew 7. Is that the one I want?
Matthew 7:16. 12 and 10. 12 and 10.
12 and 10. I like this too. This going into the trees. I like that. I was thinking about this.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 16.
Right.
Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?
Right. He's saying you should know men by their fruits. Now Christ is going into. Matter of fact, start at 15. Start at 15, so you can get the full.
Verse 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing.
Right. He said, beware of false prophets. Right. That's men. Beware these men that come in, like they come to you in sheep's. They was in sheep's clothing, basically. So they really trying to eat you because you were sheep. You know?
But inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Right, so now he's about to explain how can you see a false prophet? How can you actually understand who this false prophet is?
Ye should know them by their fruits.
By their what?
By their fruit.
By their fruits. You're going to know the false prophet by their fruits, their works, what they bring forth. Right?
Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles?
Right.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
Right. A good tree going to bring forth good fruit.
But a corrupt tree will bring forth evil fruit.
Right. Fruit can be good or evil. See that? So it's all parabolic. It's all a similitude.
It's the book of Hosea, chapter 12, verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the mystery of the prophets.
So he used similitudes. He can compare fruit to, that's what the Lord, that's how the Lord get down, right? Give me Ezekiel, man. Ezekiel 32. Yeah. No, I don't want that. Ezekiel 32. About Adam, the trees that envy him. Right? I'll bring this out in a minute, man. Yeah, it's in Ezekiel 32, all right?
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 32.
See where I want to start. This is it. Yeah, this is it. I want to see where I want you to get. I want to get straight to the point because there's a lot in it. Slocky. Wait, is this it? No, this not. No, that's not the one I want. It's not Ezekiel 30. Because 37 is. Oh, it's Ezekiel 31. Yeah, 31. I don't want that one. I want you to get start at 8. That's what I want. 31 and 8. I want 31 and 8. Bring this out in a minute. Bring this out.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31, verse 8.
Right. And this to further prove about the fruits and everything and the trees that represent the nation.
The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him.
Right, that's talking about the garden of God is the garden of Eden, and this is talking about Adam, because when he got found sinning, he went and hid among the nations. He sold the figs. That's what that's talking about, because the figs is coming. He basically went deeper into that knowledge, basically. Right, he started dressing and acting like him, and went deeper into that knowledge. But they couldn't hide Adam because his stature was too high. He still was a great man, and the Lord like, what you doing? You going off?
The cedars of the garden of God could not hide him. Right. The fir trees were not like the boughs, right, and the chestnut trees were not like the branches. Right. Not any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty. Right. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him.
Right, and the trees, all the trees in the garden of Eden envied him. So a tree can't envy you, man. Man can envy you. And those was the other nations envying the chosen Adam. And from there, they basically sent a serpent to go, beguile Eve, man. They say, go talk to his woman, man. That way we can bring him down. They sent the damn crafty, cunning devil to him. It's just like now, don't Jake call people that snitch, they call them rats. They call people that's shice, they call them snakes. You see that? So that's the same thing. Literally the exact same thing. He called him a serpent. He's like that damn serpent, man. He was crafty, man. Because men is known as beasts in the Bible as well. Men are considered beasts in the Bible. Right? Give me that, what's that? Psalms 73 and 22. There's one in Ecclesiastes 3 and 10. You there? You got it? Is that 22? Is that it? Yeah.
Psalm 73 and 22. Right. So foolish was I and ignorant. I was as a beast before thee.
I was as a beast before thee. I ain't had no commandments in me, so I was a beast. So that's why he said the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field. So all the other nations was considered beasts, man. Whereas Adam was the chosen Adam to govern them in righteousness. That's why they envied him, because he was chosen. Adam in Hebrew just means mankind or man. Anywhere you see in Hebrew the word man is Adam. Anywhere in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? So that Adam was just the chosen man. You see that? Like he was the chosen man, but it was a bunch of Adam, men and women. And then he had the chosen Adam, gave him Eve, and through his loins came Noah, which came Shem, which became the Israelites. You see that? Which became all nations, because Noah came out of the loins of that chosen Adam. He did away with everybody during the flood. Right? You got a precept? What you was going into? The beast? What you got? The beast? Oh yeah, you bring it up.
The book of Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 22. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children and destroy your cattle and make you few in number. Your highways shall be desolate.
You see that? And that's talking about the nations. He gonna send beasts to you, man. These beasts ain't gonna rob you of your children. It's talking about actual men. They go, this is a curse that will happen to us. These beasts came through and conquered us, man. That's what they did. The so-called white man is a brute beast, man. Right, bring that out.
That's the book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 20. Man that is in honor and understanding not is like the beast that perish. It's like the beast that perish.
If you got honor, but you don't understand the scriptures, you a beast that perish, man. Right? Didn't Nebuchadnezzar, he was a damn beast, man. Right? He made him a beast. Like Matthew 3 and I want where they called him, he called them snakes, man. This it right here. Right, start at verse 5.
The book of Matthew chapter 3 and verse 5. Then went out to him Jerusalem and all Judea and all the region round about Jordan, and were baptized of him in Jordan, confessing their sin.
Right, and this is talking about John the Baptist. He baptizing all the Israelites in the Jordan. Read on.
But when he saw many of the Pharisees and the Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who have warned you to flee from the wrath to come.
Right, he said, "Oh generation of vipers." He called them serpents, snakes, man. So that's just a way of dissing him, man. Right, bring it up too.
Bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance.
Do what?
Bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance.
Right, so you got to bring forth works so you can get this repentance. Prove you worthy of it, man. See, that wasn't free. He ain't say, hey, you damn, bring me an apple, man. And, you can get repentance, man. No, man, he said, look, man, you damn vipers, man. Who told you about the day, man? Hey, go show some better works, man, and come back. And then you can get repentance.
That's why he said, man has become like us, having the knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah, he said that after they ate the fruit too, man. He said, man, it's become like us. How? Because they went to them philosophies, man, straight up and down, man. So those is Christianity lies and what you call folklore, man. The Bible speaking metaphors, man. Right? It's a puzzle you got to put together. It's written by so-called black men. So we got slang, man. Like, no. It's like us writing our own book for our own nation. We're going to be saying certain things like we do now. Like I said, we still call people snakes, man. Still, we call people rats. Now imagine somebody 3,000 years trying to read something you wrote, speaking the slang of that day. You'll be like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying?
It's no new thing.
Yeah. Like you look up some of these lyrics that these people be saying when they double entendres and this means three things, and you know what I'm saying? Like, same thing. Those people we wrote the Bible, so of course it's gonna have some flavor and slang, right?
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 1. Now, you already explained it?
Well, we brought it out because she ate the fruit that was wrong.
No, I was about to explain about the serpent part.
Oh yeah, I kind of broke down the serpent part. Yeah, the serpent is just crafty. I mean, you can bring it up.
Why would